this was the issue. So I had to make it very clear to Matthew Robinson that I may be firm in communicating this to you, but that's to express the seriousness of the issue. We're talking about discrimination here. We can land a college in serious trouble. And it's my job to protect not just the community, but the college from falling foul of the law. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
We've got to avoid discrimination. That's what it's about. And here we've got a case of discrimination on the grounds of someone's disability or a learning need. That's one. But also because of their faith. So being dangerous waters here. So therefore we need to correct our way so that we don't fall foul of this.
Today's podcast is sponsored by 2 companies.
This video is sponsored by Chai Pani Blackburn, the hottest place to get your carrot chai in South Asian street foods. Open from early and closes late means you'll never miss out on all your favorite foods. With a great indoor seating area with friendly staff at your service to a large shared car park with a drive-through style attendant taking your order so you don't have to leave the comfort of your vehicle. It's a perfect spot to meet and catch up with friends, so make sure you head down to Chai Pani Blackburn in partnership with Brain Cell Squared.
The second sponsors is a company called Tiny Tastes, based in Blackburn, Lancashire. Are you guys ready for this one? Because Tiny Tastes have sent me a sample of their product. And what Tiny Taste is, you've heard of Dubai chocolate. Tiny Tastes have incorporated Dubai chocolate into small bite-sized chocolates with different toppings on top. So we have an pistachio one, we have a Biscoff one, and we have an almond one. I've tried these before and they're absolutely amazing. I think we'll give it a go. Which one?
Almond, please.
Almond.
Me one off.
Which one?
Pistachio.
We've got our awesome manager. Yes.
The camera guy.
Camera manager, HR, everything.
Almond one's really good. Almond one is really good. Almond's awesome.
So this is what you're working with. Absolutely amazing. Check them out. They're on Instagram.
Nice, isn't it? Oh, that's nice.
It is, isn't it?
Then what happens subsequently in the new year becomes an issue for investigation.
Investigation, as a point of investigation.
Do you see how serious that is as well? So even mentioning that as an issue for investigation, what message does that give me?
That they're trying to hush you up. They're trying
Absolutely. So in my role, the only reason my role works is I can speak honestly
about these situations
with management. Absolutely. Now, if I'm being silenced,
you can't do it.
My position becomes untenable, as I mentioned in the statement. That my position became untenable. That I can't justify being in that position, because if I continued being in that position, then I wouldn't be doing justice to my role.
You wouldn't be you wouldn't be a chaplain. You'd just be a normal staff member. Teaching something else. And even a normal staff member has duties to challenge discrimination, but more so in my position as a chaplain.
Of course.
Now, if I'm being silenced for that, then I can no longer do my job.
Your job is wipe behind the goal.
So what happened after this then?
So then, once the notice of investigation was given to me, I went back to my office and I emailed my manager and copied in HR saying that I will resign from this position, and if they could work with Lancashire Council on Mosques to appoint my successor. Simple. In relation to that particular student, because of myself challenging with the support of the support worker, because we challenged that particular issue, that led to an improvement of the experience of that student. So that student was able, and the tutor was able to reflect on their practice as a result of that challenge. The tutor was able to reflect on their practice. The student was able to improve their relationship with management. And I subsequently had I sat down with the student and I explained the situation to the student as well.
Even after your resignation, even after the way you've been treated, is it right to say you still carried on providing this support?
Yes,
where it needed to be
supported. Of course. So because of that challenge, it led to the experience of the student improving. And I through the support worker and through others, I got the message that the tutors were now happy with the students. Now, so do you see how dealing with this in-house is a much better model?
Yeah, 100%.
Than what it's become now,
Yeah.
which is it's become a public matter now, isn't it?
It could have been resolved in house. Yeah.
Yes. So that's the ideal approach to deal with these things. But however, the college.
I feel like they felt like it would be easier to deal with it being outsourced, the problem, rather than keeping it in house.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've played it wrong.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
In your statement, you mentioned along this line. So the question that I have for you is, how does this affect the community, the behaviour of the management?
So the role I had as a chaplain is not a conventional role. So it's not just an employer-employee relationship. Yeah. So because it's not an employee-employee relationship, rather I've been appointed as a representative of the community. Therefore, there's something beyond just a simple employment contract. It's the college's relationship with the community.
Yeah.
Because I'm there to represent the community.
Of course.
Therefore, you can't reduce it to merely an employment dispute. It's more than that. It's a dispute with the community.
Because you are the spokesman for the community.
Absolutely. That's another way of putting it. Absolutely.
So how does the election of Adnan Hussain tie into all this?
Yes. Good question. So what's happened during the last general election is that a long-standing relationship that the community has had with the Labour Party has been severed. That's what's happened in the previous general election, in particular in a place like Blackburn, where for the first time we have elected an independent
and
MP.
Labour almost became cemented previously.
Absolutely.
Everything, they had their roots.
And growing up, that's
for
what we've seen is
planted everywhere.
For decades, we've always had a Labour MP.
And they had everything planted where they wanted it, how they wanted it. And
absolutely.
And that's obviously because now they're not independent.
Yes. But the election of Adnan Hussain, would that have happened if it wasn't for the Gaza genocide?
Frankly speaking, no.
Exactly. And I think anyone would acknowledge that.
Why not?
Because
that's what he stood on. That's his entire slogan, his entire campaign.
Absolutely.
Banners was all about Gaza. If it wasn't for, that's the only reason why we told our parents, don't vote for X, Y, and Z. Vote for Adnan, because even though he can't physically do anything, he'll be the word for us.
So I'd like to challenge that.
Okay.
Slightly.
Okay.
Isn't that a good thing?
I'm not saying it's a good thing or bad thing. I'm just saying it's a matter of fact.
Okay. So it's a matter of fact.
I'm just saying it's a matter of fact. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a matter of fact. Yeah. No, I'm not. Of course, that's not the point here. No.
So you were saying, Adnan Hussain, if the Gaza genocide, rightly so-called genocide, the Gaza genocide didn't take place, would Adnan Hussain be running for MP?
Running for MP, would he get elected? More importantly, I think most people would agree it would be very difficult for him to get elected without that, and for the other independent MPs across the country to get elected as well,
because their reasonings were experience, etc. Whatever.
What mobilised the Muslim community in this general election was the Gaza issue, without a doubt, and that's what has led to the election of 4 independent MPs besides Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn would have still got elected, but besides that, the 4 other independent MPs have all been elected because of this concern that the Muslim community has about the Gaza genocide.
How does that tie in with the Chaplain Gate?
Yes. The constituency within which the college operates is Adnan's constituency, and Adnan has only been elected, or has primarily been elected, because of the Gaza genocide. So how come the college that operates in his constituency contradict that mandate?
I see that.
Do you see? If the community is concerned about Palestine, then they should be able to speak about Palestine within a public sector institution that exists within that constituency. If you're not allowed to publicly speak about Palestine within that, then you're contradicting the democratic mandate. That's
all based on.
Yes.
The foundation is based
absolutely. That's the point I made in the statement.
Okay, no, fair enough. That makes sense. So obviously that's something we may have a 1 year later podcast with Adnan Hussain. So this is a point that we will definitely bring up. So at the end of the statement, you mentioned institutional Islamophobia. The fact that you mentioned it in your statement shows that this is institutional Islamophobia is related to Blackburn College.
Yes.
How is that?
Okay, so there's a number of things we need to look at here. So the first thing we need to interrogate is, these are technical terms. Institutional is a technical term. Islamophobia is a technical term. So these are technical terms. So we do need to have an appreciation of these technical terms. Now, if you refer to the statement, I've alluded to definitions of both of these in the statement itself. So let's look at Islamophobia first.